In this video, I want to go ahead and show you really the proper way to go about setting up your Loveable or whatever platform you're using to actually create your no-code applications. If you don't structure your applications right, you do risk kind of exposing your API keys and really just kind of building a code base that's kind of hard to be flexible with. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just show you a concept. This is not a new concept. This has been around for a long time, especially based on my experience as a project manager and now a product manager. I can say that at a high level view for a lot of our internal tooling that are really just CRUD applications, meaning create, read, update, delete, this is really kind of the model at a high level that I see a lot, right? So let me just go ahead and break it down. So first we have the user, right? So you have the user of an application. The user has some type of input in the application to what we call a controller, right? So in the case of the example I'm going to be showing you guys today, I have a simple project that I'm working on Loveable and spinning up right now. The user has some type of control over the software. Whenever they make that input, there's data that's then sent to a backend where there's a configuration, all the logic is stored, and once that process finishes running, it then updates a database, which then pings over to the UI, which updates the UI for the user. So from the user's point of view, all it looks like is that the user is creating an input and they get an output. But in reality, their input made this whole entire journey, and that's why they're getting the output that they're getting. So let me go ahead and just show you an example I made using Loveable and N8N in the backend. Okay, so this is a very simple, really a CRUD app that I created using Loveable and N8N in the backend. And basically all it does is that we're going to paste in something from the Play Store, a link to an app in the Play Store. And when we do, we're just going to get a quick analysis by our AI. We're using ChatGPT in this example. And it's just going to come here, right? So as you see, I've already done a couple apps here just to test it. And we're using Supabase as a database. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and take it for a quick test. So I'm going to take this app here, productivity app, and I'm going to come back over to my application. I'm going to paste it in here. And because I have this flow in inactive mode, I'm just going to go ahead and hit test workflow. I'm going to come back and we click on analyze app. And as we see here, the webhook got it. It's currently being scraped right now. All right, it's currently working with OpenAI. And then lastly, it's going to hit the Supabase database. All right. And with that being said, we see here in Supabase the Forest app, which is again this app that we just copied here. This app right here, this is the summary, this is the package name, this is when it was basically created. And then we come back here and we see, perfect, the analysis was complete and the update lands here, all right? So let's see what happens, right? So as you see, first of all, as you see, I didn't put all the logic into Loveable. I didn't tell Loveable, hey, I want to give you this, do all this stuff with it and come back to the front end. All Loveable is, in my case, is a front end. I'm using N8N to actually power the back end, right? So basically, design aside, what I basically told Loveable is I said, hey, I gave Loveable a webhook to use. And I said, you're going to use this webhook for this form. Whenever a user submits something through this form, it's then going to be received by my webhook here in N8N. All right. So once it's received here, and as we can just kind of go and look at the back end here. So as we see, the URL is received right there. And then from here, I basically just use a set node where I'm just getting the URL and I'm just sending it right over here. And I have some code, I have a code block here because in order for me to run the scrape using Amplify, I have to get the package ID, right? So I'm getting the package name, so it breaks it down like this. And then I'm using Amplify to do the scraping. And just in case you didn't know, Amplify is a really good platform that gives you access to a lot of scrapers. It's also a really great place to just kind of get started when you're learning about working with scrapers and sending data to AI for analysis or summary, whatever. Okay, so back here in N8N, so basically from there, I get back all the reviews and I had ChatGPT go ahead and just create me some code here to basically just kind of break down their response from the scraper. And then basically from there, I'm prepping it for the AI. So I have another code block here where I just kind of break it down into reviews 1 through 5. It goes to our AI ChatGPT model. And then lastly, it lands into Supabase. So this is where it's important. So again, here in Supabase, as you see, the app was updated here. And basically all Loveable is doing in that case, right? It's really just sending information and getting information, but it's not doing any of the processing or any of the logic of information. So as AI is becoming a lot more mainstream, what we're seeing today is that a lot more apps are really just becoming front ends for backend AI agents. Going back to our visual here, right? So what happened in our case? Again, I as the user had an input. In my case, I inputted the Google link, the URL to the app in the Play Store that I wanted to review. Once I did that, that information was basically sent over to my model, which is my backend, my N8N instance, right? And then from there, it did all the processing. And at the end of the processing, it updated the database record, which then updated the Loveable view. So now for me as a user, my view is now updated here. That's really kind of the way you want to structure your projects. That way you're not giving these tools directly your API keys and things like that, which can possibly expose them to the front end and can be very costly, right? So number one, you're not doing that. And then number two, it helps you to just kind of modularize your software a lot more. So if you ever want to switch out your front end or do something like that, it's not like you have to give up your entire code base. Your back end, in my case, I'm using N8N, but there's other tools out there like Billship or Exano where you can put a lot of your logic. So yeah, with that being said, thanks for checking out the video.